Why are we so busy? I was talking with a friend a while ago, and that's the question that she asked me. Now, she's not diagnosed, but she does a lot. She has a PhD, she's constantly doing different activities and things. She even went out and became a certified pastor, minister, reverend, whatever, online because I wanted to call her the Reverend Doctor. Anyway, those of us with ADHD are perceived to thrive in chaos. And so oftentimes we use that to our advantage. That's just how we roll. We have lower levels of dopamine in our brain. And so naturally we want to get higher levels. Dopamine is a seeking hormone. It's not joy or fulfillment or feeling good or any of those things. That's all misunderstandings on how dopamine actually works. The less dopamine you have, the harder it is to get things done. So since we have lower levels of dopamine, we tend to be very, very busy in order to boost those levels of dopamine because we're seeking more things, and it helps us behave better. We do this for two reasons. The first one is we use it as a coping mechanism. We've discovered that if we engage in NICU type activities, remember that's novelty, interest, challenge, and urgency, that we can get our brains to focus. And when our brains are focused, our symptoms become less difficult. The second reason is it's just a symptom of ADHD. Our brains are constantly going, and so we have to point it in a direction, but usually it tends to be just in low priority busy work. And we have a harder time prioritizing tasks. But you know what? We're still increasing dopamine levels, so yeah. So is it okay for us not to be busy? Yeah. But it can cause problems. So think of it like a graph. And the graph of our busyness to benefit ratio is kind of this U-shaped curve. On one side you have not enough busyness, and that can cause problems, things like boredom, which is the ADHD kryptonite. On the other side of the U-shaped curve you have burnout. We're doing too much and we're not connected with our purpose anymore because we don't have time to really think about it. And that's a real problem because we get really tired and then we stop doing stuff and then we're over at the other side of the curve with boredom again. So that sweet spot is right in the middle of that U-shaped curve where we're not in boredom and we're not in burnout. So where is the busyness sweet spot and how do we find it? That's the trick. Everyone's ADHD is different. And that sweet spot is going to change depending on the person and depending on the day. It also changes depending on what happens during the day. You might wake up one morning and have lots of energy and lots of dopamine and ready to go. But halfway through the day, your coworker does something unthinking and stupid. And you get, I don't want to say triggered, but it really pisses you off and you go in a downward spiral and you're ruminating a lot. Well, your really good high dopamine day where you were going to get a lot done now is kind of in the toilet. So really this question turns into, how do you hit a moving target? Well, the first thing is you have to track it. You're looking at speed, you're looking at direction, and you're looking for movement patterns. Second step is we need to get out in front of it. We need to anticipate where it's going to go. And the third step is just practice. We just keep trying to hit it over and over and over again. There's this old saying, you probably have heard of it, practice makes perfect. It's not true. If you practice at something that isn't perfect, you're going to be really good at something that's not perfect. So that saying is kind of dumb. A correct saying is practice makes permanent. So the more we do something, the better at that something we're going to get. So let's map this to our current situation. We have to track it. What does that mean? It means we're paying attention to how much energy we have that day. We're paying attention to what we can get done. We're paying attention to the obstacles that come up that might throw us off our path. And just write things down as they happen during the day. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Then we want to get out in front of it. We want to anticipate the day we're going to have. So wake up in the morning. How do you feel? What kind of day are you going to have? And then pay attention to the things that happen that day and try and anticipate how things are going to go. And that just leads us to practice. As we get up in the morning and we see what day we're going to have, plan accordingly. If it's a high energy day, great. Try and get your head down where there are no distractions and people can't screw with your day, where you can actually get a ton of stuff done. If you're feeling like crap and things are bad, that's all right. But plan accordingly and give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't expect yourself to head down 90 minutes of deep work when you're spiraling and you want to spend all day on YouTube. So we have to balance understimulation and overstimulation. We can do that by pairing activities. If you're overstimulated, take a break, pull yourself out of what you're doing, maybe go on a walk, do some deep breaths, get behind your desk and do some push-ups. I mean, whatever it is to take yourself out of that moment and kind of reset your brain and your attitude. If you're understimulated, you can pair really boring tasks with something that's more interesting. Turn on a YouTube video while you're doing some mindless task at work. And a good way we can plan things at work is using something called ultradian cycles, where you go into rhythms of having more energy and being able to do things, and then needing to take a break and have a little bit of rest. Generally, ultradian cycles follow the pattern of 90 minutes of activity followed by 15 to 30 minutes of rest. But that's on a good day. But on a bad day, maybe it's 15 minutes of work and an hour of rest. And you know what? If we're in one of those days and we're spiraling, that's okay. 15 minutes of getting something done is way better than not getting anything done at all that day. So how do we relax? We relax by doing opposites. So if we have a desk job and we're working all day with our minds, the best way to relax is by doing something physical. I mentioned before, go on a walk around your building, or maybe do a set of push-ups behind your desk, or get up and go talk to somebody for a couple of minutes. But we need at least one fun thing a day to look forward to. Something that we find enjoyable that will help prevent burnout. And yes, we should schedule it. Because if we don't, that time is going to be taken by someone else's emergency. So do that now. As soon as you're done with this video, open up your calendar or your notebook or whatever you tend to use and schedule that fun thing. If today's done and you're already capped out for the day, schedule it for tomorrow. What fun thing are you going to do? And let me know if you want to talk about some of these topics in a bit more detail. As always, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you, and I look forward to the next one where we engineer the crap out of ADHD.